Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Wade Neely. We are in the Lee Company studios here on West 7th Street in Columbia, where Mule Day festivities are already ongoing. Obviously, the main events are tomorrow, but it's a weekend. It's a big thing, right?
I was chatting with somebody downstairs here at the studio earlier, and I said, "This is the biggest thing in Columbia," and they said, "Well, hey, some people say it's the biggest thing in Southern Middle Tennessee," and so I said, "Well, okay then." I said, "Don't sleep on Mule Day," but yeah, always exciting. A lot of stuff to get into sports wise, but if you're looking for other entertainment, Columbia is going to be a happening spot this weekend.
Well, I mean, you've got I guess going on right now is the driving mule show at the old arena at Murray County Park and the state auctioneer contest over at the livestock sale barn.
Now, I wonder if that's where Chris Yao is right now. Auctioneer contest.
Yeah,
I could see him doing some damage over there.
That would be a thing.
Yeah,
that would be a thing. You've got some live music and line dancing later on today at the Ridley 4-H Center at 6 o'clock. Oh, no, this is where Yao will be. At 7 o'clock at Columbia Central High School, you've got the Liars Contest Mule Tales.
Okay, yeah. I can see him getting down on that. This is a big weekend, and the cool thing is, growing up in Giles County, we're obviously, it's one of those things you kind of take for granted a little bit. Mm-hmm. But there is and we have our own miniature version of it in Giles County, the Where's the Beef Festival, and we kind of do the same thing. You get burned out on it a little bit, but you kind of take for granted how much stuff really is going on. And we're looking through a copy of the Main Street Murray this week. I mean, there are a ton of events all taking place right here in Muletown.
Oh, absolutely. You've got a 5K race tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. You've got the craft fair going on. You've got live music all day tomorrow. The Mule Day Parade, which they already have cleared the streets for here on West 7th, is at 11 o'clock. Also, the Mule Pulling Contest is midday. And you've got more line dancing with Urban Cowboy and the Mule Town Stompers at 6 tomorrow evening. So, yeah, plenty going on here in Columbia for Mule Day.
All I'm going to say, I've only been to one Mule Day. Tomorrow I'm coming back up with some friends and family, and it's going to be a fun time. If you're coming to the parade, really, if you're just in the general vicinity, number one, probably leave early. But most importantly, watch where you step tomorrow. Watch where you step, and maybe don't wear. I know you're gonna want to stunt. I know you're gonna want to ball out a little bit. Don't wear your best shoes.
Don't wear anything with waffle soles either.
I'm glad you said that.
You want flat soles.
Some of my most comfortable pair of shoes. That would be bad news tomorrow if I were to wear those up here. Just watch where you're stepping tomorrow, folks. That's all I'm saying.
I've not been to Mule Day. I've only been in and around Columbia for
Mule Day by association.
Yeah, but I am from Franklin. I have been to the Franklin Rodeo Parade. Watch where you step.
You know of which we speak.
Absolutely.
That just came to me right when we were talking about that, and I was like, "Yeah, better watch where your feet are going."
Or word to the wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
We got a big show today. In the next segment, we begin our Nashville Sound segment that we will do weekly on Fridays. Most of the time, we will have Jeff Hem, the voice of the Sounds. But during homestands, we try to get a player to come on with us. And since the Sounds are at First Horizon Park this weekend, continuing their series against St. Paul, we will have Isaac Collins. And when we get Isaac Collins on, we will ask him what position he plays, because he's listed as an outfielder,
but
he's also listed as a second baseman. And yeah.
I love when the rosters have the actual positions, though, rather than just utility.
Mm-hmm.
I just love when it's like, yeah, this guy's a right fielder, but he also plays shortstop.
Yeah.
You know, just why not?
Get in where you fit in.
I love
right?
when they have the two positions. And if you get really, really lucky every now and again on like a small college, you'll have a guy with three on there.
Well, kind of like we talked to Siegel coach Craig Revis yesterday. He was talking about his MTSU signee Lane Akers. He said in a 3-game series, he'll catch the first game, play left field the second game, play second base in the third game. Yeah, versatility. We like versatility. So it'll be fun talking to Isaac Collins here in the next segment. In the second hour, we'll be joined by, and I want to make sure I get this right because the last time I didn't, the queen of Tennessee sports media, TERESA Walker of the Associated Press. And we're going to take full advantage of her queendom. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything when we get TERESA on for 2 segments today. So we'll talk a little Braves, as we always do, and we'll see what else comes up. But right now, I guess what we need to do, Wade, with no further ado, since producer Mark says today's is a bear, let's get into yesterday's results and this weekend's schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Associates, the Blue Raider Voice also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. So call Chip at 615-542-1915 or visit his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
Baseball action from Thursday. Lawson with a 23-5 win over Antioch. Blackman defeated Stewart's Creek 6-5, and I don't know if that was a doubleheader with matching scores or just one game, but I've got Blackman 6, Stewart's Creek 5 times 2. Nolensville with a 4-0 win over Brentwood. Franklin doubled up Centennial 6-3. It was Clarksville 4, Tees. Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mark, can you hear us?
I can hear you. We're good. For a second.
Welcome to Protein Snack Shop, your destination for healthy and delicious low-carb snacks. Our specialty lies in providing protein-packed desserts that are perfect for those following a keto diet. Our products are made with high-quality ingredients, ensuring that you can satisfy your cravings without compromising your health goals. From a variety of flavors and options to choose from, you can enjoy guilt-free snacking while staying on track with your fitness journey. Don't miss out on our limited time offer. Discover Protein Snack Shop today.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. She's on Thinking Out Loud, presented by Regions, and Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang. It is, in fact, Alyssa Lang.
I'm a little nervous. I'm going to lower the bar for guests now.
Oh, no.
Apologies in advance. It sounds like
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey.
You got that radio voice.
I do.
It's a good sound.
Thanks for radio too.
As do we. And then here's the other thing. You guys, you're spot on with the name. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. So,
and we reach every main street in Middle Tennessee, Coach.
yeah, that's it. So
Perfect.
when you are on Main Street and you are moving,
You gotta love it.
like you're moving, I was impressed.
I'm glad someone.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. I think we're good. Sorry for the technological difficulties.
Those dang mules.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to pick up where we left off here on the rundown. Clarksville Academy with a couple of baseball wins over Hendersonville. One over Hendersonville 12-10, defeated Mishawaka of Indiana 15-7. Giles County 6, Collinwood 1. Columbia Central with a 3-1 win over Franklin County. Loretto defeated Columbia Academy 9-6. Christ Presbyterian 14. White House 4, Davidson Academy with a 10-5 win over Battleground Academy. Mattoon of Illinois 13, Dixon County 3, Eagleville Edge Forest 3-2. It was Friendship Christian 21, Ezel Harding 4. Green Hill with a pair of victories over Gallatin 10-3 and 5-2. Franklin Grace 6, Webb School 1. Independence defeated Ravenwood 5-3. It was 11-4. Cookeville 1. Glencliff and Maplewood tied at 1. Good Pasture 17, McGavock 7, Riverdale 1-0 over Siegel. Sorry, Craig. Oakland 7, Rockville 4, Rogers of Alabama 12, Lawrence County 7. Rossview defeated Whetstone of Ohio 16-0. It was Murfreesboro Central 8, Smyrna 4. Corbin of Kentucky defeated Spring Hill 8-4. Summertown with a 6-2 win over Richland, and West Creek defeated Clarksville Christian 19-0.
To the small diamond we go. Softball scores from yesterday. Columbia Academy winning over Grace Christian Franklin. 11-0 was your final there. Cookeville defeated Wilson Central by a count of 8-3. DCA knocks off Ezel Harding 12-7. Summit takes care of Franklin 16-1. Good Pasture 14, Friendship Christian 7. 17 runs put up by Green Hill, just 3 for Gallatin. Big win for Green Hill again, 17-3. Over Gallatin. John Overton blanked Cane Ridge 12-0. Lawrence County blanked Murfreesboro Central Magnet 15-0. Lincoln County was a 6-3 winner over Columbia. White House defeated Macon County 9-3. Loretto shut out Mount Pleasant 11-zip yesterday, as Nashville Christian also zipped Mount Juliet Christian up 15-0 was your score there. 7-2 Nolensville winner over Centennial. Page wins a 1-run ball game, 3-2 versus Ravenwood. Siegel 4, Blackman 2. Riverdale 4, Blackman 2. Siegel 3, Rockville 0. Got my Rutherford County schools all twisted there. Smyrna 11, Lebanon and 1. Stewart's Creek went for 2 on their third touchdown, I suppose, and they put up 22 runs, knocking off Laverne 22-0. Giles County defeated Tullahoma to cap our softball scores yesterday. That score was 5-1. Good win for GCHS last night.
On the pitch, Lakeway Christian with a 6-2 win over Columbia Academy in boys soccer. Murfreesboro Central 4, Giles County 3. Richland with a 4-0 win over Wayne County. Hendersonville 3, Beach 0. Rockvale 2, Providence Christian nil. Gallatin and Smyrna played to a 1-1 draw. Cookeville and Stewart's Creek played to a 2-2 draw. And University School of Nashville defeated Middle Tennessee Christian 9-0. On the ice, the Predators snap a 3-game losing streak in pretty decisive fashion. Down in the blue 6-3 last night. And at First Horizon Park, the Sounds take a 2-1 lead in that 6-game series against visiting St. Paul 4-3. Baseball action today at the high school level. Lexington Catholic of Kentucky plays at Riverdale. They are actually playing right now. That was a 2 o'clock start. At the bottom of the hour, Dixon County plays Beach. 3 o'clock start for Liberty of Ohio at Lipscomb Academy. At 4, Ezel Harding is at Cane Ridge. McGavock is at Good Pasture. At 4:30, Clay of Ohio plays Beach. Also at 4:30, Knights Academy is at Christ Presbyterian Academy. At 4:30 as well, Tees Valley of Ohio plays Dixon County. Columbia Academy plays at Franklin Road Academy at 4:30. Loretto is at Lauderdale County of Alabama at 4:30. Overton goes to MBA. Station Camp is at Riverdale. At 5, Ainsworth is at Christ Presbyterian Academy. Also at 5, Donaldson Christian goes to East Robertson. Andrian of Indiana plays at Grace Christian of Franklin. University School of Nashville is at Pope Prep. Mishawaka of Indiana plays Greenbrier at 5:15. Also at 5:15, Van Buren of Ohio plays at Clarksville. At 5:30, East Nashville is at Trousdale County.
Into the 6 o'clock window now. Blackman will visit Gallatin this evening. Limestone, Alabama is at Giles County tonight. Murfreesboro Central Magnet will travel to Hume Fogg. Mount Pleasant will host Zion Christian this evening. Tullahoma is at Rockvale. Riverdale is at Siegel. Columbia is at Summit. Springfield is at Westmoreland. And capping your 6 o'clock window, Smyrna is at Brentwood this evening. Now to 6:30 we go. Fairview at Culleoka. Hillsboro will travel to Franklin. Middle Tennessee Christian will hit the road for a trip to Friendship Christian. Centennial will visit Green Hill this evening. Lawrence County will host Rogers, Alabama. Page will host Forest in a big showdown tonight. Davidson Academy is at Ravenwood. Collinwood travels to Richland this evening. Oakland is at Rockvale. Independence is at Siegel. Westfield, Indiana at Clarksville Academy. That game is set to begin at 6:45. Later games this evening. Lawson at Harpeth, tipping off at 7 p.m. 7:30 tonight. Collierville is at Clarksville. Henry County is going to meet Hendersonville at 7:30. Other games, we don't have start times listed, but scheduled to play. Lebanon is supposed to visit Cookeville tonight. Eagleville is set to travel to Gordonsville. What was our school out of Indiana again? Mishawaka, excuse me.
There you go.
Mishawaka will visit Rossview tonight. Cannon County will travel to Summertown. Into Saturday now for baseball. Mount Juliet's going to host somebody. We don't know who, but they're set to host somebody at 9:30 tomorrow morning. So before you think about coming down to Columbia for Mule Day, may want to investigate checking out Mount Juliet beginning at 9:30 once again. They're not the only team playing early, though. 10 a.m., Brentwood Academy is going to host Andrew, Indiana. Mattoon, Illinois will travel to Clarksville. That game is set to begin at 11:30. Noon starts between Waverly traveling to CPA, Harpeth at Innsworth. Andrea in Indiana will play Father Ryan at noon. Columbia is going to visit Franklin tomorrow for a matinee. Franklin Road Academy at CA. That game is set to begin at 1. Good Pasture will visit Gordonsville also at 1. Pope John Paul II is at Lipscomb Academy. In our final couple 1 o'clock games here, Lexington Catholic Kentucky's at Station Camp. Laverne is at Webb School. White House is at Wilson Central. 4:30 start tomorrow between Lebanon at Gallatin. 5:30 it'll be Friendship Christian at Middle Tennessee Christian. Henry County is set to play Clarksville, as is Beach at Clarksville Academy. Those games are listed at 5 o'clock start times tomorrow. 6:30 tomorrow night, Muscle Shoals is out of Alabama, and they'll be traveling to Loretto. And Tees Valley, Ohio, and Hendersonville are both set to take on Rossview. Don't have a start time listed, so if you show up at Rossview, pretty good chance you're going to catch at least 1, if not 2 games tomorrow night.
There we go. Softball today at 4 o'clock. Fairview plays Franklin County. Also at 4, Zion Christian plays Lebanon. Moore County plays Lipscomb Academy. Green Hill plays Summertown. Stewart's Creek plays Tipton Rosemark. Those are all 4 o'clock starts. At 4:30, Columbia Academy is at the Webb School. Also at 4:30, Good Pasture goes to Davidson Academy. At 5, Ezel Harding hosting Friendship Christian. Gallatin hosting Hendersonville. Columbia Central travels to Hickman County. Pequot of Ohio, I guess that's Pequot, Piqua.
Sounds like Pequot.
Plays Christ Presbyterian at 5:30. Also at 5:30, Battleground Academy plays Franklin County. Nashville Christian is at Lawson at 5:30. Liberty Creek and Lebanon meet at 5:30. Also, Riverdale is at Shelbyville. Green Hill plays Summit. Moore County plays Wilson Central. At 6, Cornersville is at Richland. That game can be heard on Pulaski Citizen Live on Facebook. Also at 6 o'clock, Centennial is at Hendersonville. At 7, Zion Christian faces Blackman. Stewart's Creek and Nolensville will face off, as will Lipscomb Academy and Ravenwood. Eagleville and Rockvale, Dyer County and Summit. Dyer County and Summertown at 7. Dyer County and Summit at 8, theoretically. Liberty Creek and Blackman at 8:30. Grace Christian of Franklin and CPA at 8:30. Also Nolensville and Oakland. Ravenwood and Wilson Central. Saturday, 9:30 a.m. starts for Stewart's Creek and Christ Presbyterian Academy. Also Dyer County and Green Hill. Blackman, Lebanon. Tipton Rosemark, Oakland. Moore County, Ravenwood. And Liberty Creek, Zion Christian. At 11, Battleground Academy plays Fairview. Also Pequot of Ohio and Franklin Grace. Hoover of Alabama and Nolensville. Summit and Summertown. That should be a good one. Lipscomb Academy and Wilson Central. At 1 o'clock, Marshall County is at Columbia Central. In the midst of Mule Day. That should be interesting.
Good luck getting over there.
Yeah. Boys soccer. Wade, have at it.
Yeah, boys soccer games. These are set to kick off tonight. Webb School is at BGA at 5 o'clock. Also at 5 will be Good Pasture traveling to Ezell Harding. In 6 o'clock action tonight, Antioch will travel to MBA. Macon County will visit Portland. Jackson County is at Watertown. 6:30 this evening, Liberty Creek will visit Westmoreland. Ravenwood and Brentwood will get it on tonight. Brentwood is the host team, and that game is set to begin at 7 p.m. Other 7 p.m. kickoffs include Page at Franklin. Should be another massive showdown there. Wilson Central at Laverne tonight. Blackman is at Oakland. Siegel is at Riverdale. Hunters Lane is at White House. Chucky Doak is set to take on Columbia Academy, and that game is set to begin at 8 p.m. Tomorrow, Columbia Academy back in action bright and early, just afternoon for a 1:30 kickoff versus Heritage. University School of Nashville is set to play Boyd Buchanan. We do not have a start time listed there. On Sunday, Father Ryan and Greenville are set to tangle, and kickoff is listed at 11:30. NBA action. Tonight, the Pistons will travel to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies at 7. That game can be seen on Valley Sports South. Tomorrow night, a game that yours truly is going to get to attend, Mo. 76ers and Joel Embiid coming to town. They're going to retire Mark Gasol's jersey, and the Grizzlies will get it on at 7 p.m. Also, again, seen on Valley Sports South. NHL action tomorrow. The Preds, we talked about them a couple days ago. They got a little bit of a road swing now after winning last night. They're at the Islanders tomorrow night. That game is at 6:30 and can be seen on Valley Sports South. Quick turnaround. On Sunday, they play the Devils. Hopefully no fights break out there, as they are set to puck drop at 6 p.m. Valley Sports South, or if you randomly have MSG TV, I suppose you can watch it there. MLS action. Nashville is set to host the Philadelphia Union tomorrow night. That game can be seen at 7:30 on Apple TV. MLB action. Games today. The D-backs are at the Braves. First pitch set for 6:20 can be seen on Valley Sports South. If you got Apple TV Plus, the Astros and Rangers kick it off tonight at 7. That'll be a big series this weekend. Houston and Texas will get it on tomorrow night at 6:05 on MLB Network. The D-backs and Braves will resume their series at 6:20 tomorrow night on Valley Sports South. On Sunday, D-backs and Braves beginning at 12:35. That actually can be seen on MLB Network as well as Valley Sports Southeast. And the Astros and Rangers are set for Sunday Night Baseball. First pitch is set for 6:10 p.m. Sounds action. We're going to get right into Sounds chatter here in just a moment, but the Sounds have 3 big games coming up, beginning today at 6:35. They play tomorrow at 6:35, and Sunday's first pitch, rumors of Chris Yao throwing out the first pitch beginning at 2:05. So if you're into must-see viral content, you can make sure to tune in person, or you can check it out on social media at large. I'm sure that will be a pretty good one.
Without question. That is your rundown.
Woo!
And without further ado, in light of our technical difficulties, we are going to jump right into our Nashville Sound segment and bring on Isaac Collins, who has been patiently waiting. I know those high school scores and schedules were enthralling for you. The Minnesota native, Isaac Collins, joining us here. And, man, we appreciate you joining us and your patience, first of all.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem. Hey, we mentioned at the top of the show, defensively, what do you consider yourself?
I mean, at this level, I would consider myself a utility guy. I was drafted as a second baseman. I've always been an infielder growing up, but once I got to the pro game, I just had to do whatever I had to do to get into the lineup, and that meant playing outfield, and I consider myself an athlete. So once I moved out there, it was just really, let my athleticism take over and just track down balls, not really think about it, just go get it. And so now it's, whatever I can do to get on the field, essentially.
Doesn't seem to have impeded your offense, hitting 400 thus far for the Sounds. How do you like your start?
Obviously, I can't complain at all. Baseball is a weird game. You just kind of have to take it day by day. There's plenty of guys on my team that, could have much better numbers, but they just aren't showing up, lining out to outfielders, hitting balls hard on the ground, whatever it may be. So, for me, I just happened to find some holes these last few games, and, just you got to take it day by day, pitch by pitch, and understand that there's another 140 some more games left, and I can't just ride my high too much.
Yeah, Isaac, that's a great question. I wanted to ask you is how many times a year do you have to, especially early in the year, do you have to literally sit back and maybe take 10 good seconds just to think, okay, I can't freak out whether it's a high or a low because there's a mountain of games still to go. How many times do you have to really just kind of pace yourself like that?
Constantly, every single day. They preach, be where your feet are, and to just be present as possible. And if you catch yourself thinking about the game last night, whether it was good or bad, you can start to spiral and go down that hole of just getting away from, what's in front of you. And baseball really tests your patience, and you got to have a strong mind, strong will to be able to continually move forward, whether you have good or bad games.
Isaac, doing some research on you, we're delighted to have you on the show today. Obviously, you mentioned the term athlete earlier. We can't talk to you without bringing up just what a decorated athlete you were. And I guess my question is this fact true about you, that you are one of only 2 players to have ever been named a finalist for Mr. Football and Mr. Baseball in the state of Minnesota? Is that correct?
I believe so. I know there's a few Mr. Football and Mr. Basketball. Jalen Suggs, Brad Davison, those are the first 2 names that popped in my head. But when it comes to football and baseball, I think it's just me and Joe Mauer, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, Brewer Fanatic with some research there for us.
I tell you what, Isaac, that's not bad company to be keeping.
No, not at all. Yeah, not at all. I'm glad to be a part of those names for sure.
That's with Joe headed to the Hall of Fame this summer. That's pretty impressive. 1 of 2. That's not bad. I thought you were going to ask him about Creighton, though.
Well, we could get we got a Creighton question coming down a little bit later, Isaac. We're not going to let you off the hot seat that easy. But since we are talking geography a little bit with Minnesota, Tennessee, we're in a little bit of a cold snap right now. But what's it like coming from a place like Minnesota, and describe kind of the elements, and how do you prepare to play games like that, knowing if you're not even going to have a game because of so much cold weather and obviously snow being an element there?
Yeah, it's a different animal up there. We don't really start playing games outside till middle of April, end of April, if we're lucky. And so it's just, you do everything you can do. We have a dome at our high school, so we did a lot of indoor practices. We took ground balls on the basketball court. And I mean, even in college at Creighton in Omaha, we had to deal with the cold weather. You got to adapt, really. That's the biggest thing. There's plenty of talent up in Minnesota when it comes to baseball, football, basketball. It doesn't really matter about the cold weather. It's just, you just have to adapt to it.
You got to really want to play, though, don't you?
Yes, definitely. You gotta love the game, 100%.
Goodness. Isaac Collins, Mr. Football, Mr. Baseball out of Minnesota, joining us here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. We got to get you wrapped up because you got to get to BP, but we do want to ask you, what's it like being in Tennessee after the events of last Friday night?
I will admit, Tennessee, they're a tough team. They were tough. That was a fun game to watch. Right when the bracket came out, I knew Creighton and Tennessee would match up in the Sweet 16. And I thought we had it there for a sec. They went on a big run in the second half, and that was just a little too much for us to come back from. But respect to Tennessee and Creighton. Our basketball program's been tremendous these last few years, putting our university on the map a little bit. So can't really complain about another Sweet 16 appearance for the Blue Jays.
Awesome. Isaac, we appreciate your time, man. And again, thank you for waiting us out while we went through some struggles. Whatever it is you're doing at the plate, don't change it, though, here over this next few minutes, MVP. Stay hot, man. We'll catch up with you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac.
Let's go now to a break, and let's catch our breath here in the Lee Company studios on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. When we come back, Braves and MLB chatter. Stay with us.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA. With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
March 5th, 1993. In his Braves debut, Greg Maddux throws 8 1/3 scoreless innings, allowing just 5 hits before Mike Stanton comes in for the final 2 outs of Atlanta's 1-0 opening day victory over the host Chicago Cubs. David Justice's base hit scores Ron Gant in the Braves' opening at bat, and Maddux strikes out 4 of his former teammates after having left as a free agent over the offseason. That was this day in Braves history. Finally, the Braves have their home opener tonight as they take on the National League champion Arizona Diamondbacks. And, you know, I'm not sure how many people realize that the Arizona Diamondbacks are the reigning National League champion.
Feels a little slept on, doesn't it?
Feels a lot slept on. And, you know, they were relatively quiet over the offseason, I guess, relatively quiet last season. So, I mean, I guess you can kind of see it. And again, as we've talked on this show, you know, the Dodgers have been so busy and just being the Dodgers, and the Giants made a couple of pretty big signings over the offseason and a couple here recently. And Arizona's just kind of been sitting there.
Yeah, and so that's the interesting thing. I think we probably would be more inclined to have a little more buzz, I guess, or excitement about Arizona. Obviously, they're worthy of it considering what they did last year. It's not as if they just are going to presumably fall off a cliff, but because of all the other signings in that division. In that
division specifically.
Yeah. Just that division alone, they kind of have just gotten lost in the shuffle. And so would not be surprised if they kind of just go about their business and end up being a quality team this year. I don't think they're going to be bad by any stretch, but yeah, they are underappreciated is maybe a way to put it, or definitely kind of slept on right now, I think.
Slept on is a good word, I think. And to be fair, when they're rolling a Tommy Henry out for tonight's start, Tommy Henry 0-1 with an 11.25 ERA over 4 innings thus far this season. You know, it doesn't necessarily bolster your confidence level. Spencer Strider, as we talked yesterday, getting the start for the Braves. He was supposed to start the final game in Chicago against the White Sox. It got rained out, snowed out, froze out.
Colded out.
Colded out, exactly. And so Strider starting tonight. Tomorrow's 6:20 game will be Max Fried and Brandon Pfaadt, Pfaadt. Pfaadt.
Now that'd be a pretty epic jersey. We may have to get our hands on one of those.
I can't wait to hear Brandon Gaudin take on Brandon Pfaadt during tomorrow's telecast.
Now, you know, he's a pro, so he won't, but you know, deep down, he's probably gonna be giggling a little bit every time. But he's really, if nothing else, he's probably gonna be nervous every time he says it, just to make sure nothing funny happens.
Yeah. It will go easier for Brandon when he doesn't have Jeff Francoeur giggling alongside of him. I think CJ Nitkowski will probably make this a little bit easier for him tomorrow. Sunday's finale is Chris Sale and Ryan Nelson on the bump for Arizona. That's a 12:35 start before 4 against the Mets. The Mets, who are struggling. No sympathy here, by the way. Anyway, we've talked about this over the course of the week. Your Astros heading to Arlington.
Yeah, it's going to be a big series this weekend, and
a lot of eyes are going to be on it too.
Yeah, I see what you did there. It's going to be one of those that probably, I will say that Houston definitely comes in needing a little sign of momentum, a little shot of positivity, as they've not gotten off to a great start. And this will be, I still am not going to really hit the panic button until we're maybe talking late April if they were really to have a bad run or a bad stretch. But if you were to lose, you know, a couple of these in decisive fashion or heaven forbid get swept, it ain't going to be good for optics. And Houston's sitting there at 4-2, so it's not as if they're both, you know, similar record-wise. Houston's 2-5, and Texas enters tonight at 4-2. So this series always gets a lot of attention. It's on Apple TV Plus, as we mentioned in the rundown. There will be a lot of folks tuned into it tonight. Hopefully, Houston can right the ship a little bit. I think Hunter Brown is throwing, I believe, for Houston.
Hunter Brown is throwing for Houston, and I think it's Bradford for the Rangers, and I'm not familiar with them enough to know a first name, unfortunately. But I am not.
I'm supposed to know my enemies a little better than this, but I must admit I don't.
Yeah. Tell me something. Seen a little social media chatter regarding the Astros start and not in a good way. Was there some anti-Dusty toward the end? I mean, was there a faction that wanted Dusty gone that you're aware or familiar with?
I don't think so, but I'm not in the weeds. There's one blog that I'll check out maybe once or twice a month, but they're pretty. I know this will shock people. They're pretty even keel. They're not in the sizzling hot takes business, and so I don't think so. I'm sure, obviously, if you start peeling back the onions on social media, there was some chatter, but I didn't necessarily pick up on that, and I certainly. So much so that now you've got me kind of hoping that was not the case.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why it would be the case, but at the same time, I've kind of seen some, be careful what you wish for type tweets and that kind of thing in light of this rough start under new manager Joe Espada. And so I just wondered if there was some Dusty beef somewhere in Astros fandom. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense to me for there to be, but doesn't necessarily mean anything either.
Yeah, I'm sure there is a little bit of segment of the fan base that maybe got a little too big for their britches type mentality now, and they've kind of, we've outgrown this or we've outgrown that. But I don't think by and large I haven't detected that. They have gotten off to not a great start. The good news is Alvarez finally had a nice little coming out party the other night. And if they can kind of get him going, or they just, every second win, they're going to go out and throw a no-hitter. I mean, I kind of like their chance. I heard you yesterday, they're 2-0 in games in which the other team doesn't score. So I like their chances in that stat for the rest of the season. And so I think they'll be okay. I think I would not be shocked if they come out and do not necessarily play well this weekend, and then everybody kind of really, national media included, now starts kind of wigging out a little bit. On the other hand, I wouldn't be shocked if they come out and play well, take 2 out of 3, maybe even in this series, and then we kind of stabilize or a little homeostasis right there. So it will be a big game tonight, though, and like we touched on at the beginning of this, it's a series that always gets a lot of attention. It's kind of one of the fun, real rivalry series in Major League Baseball, so I think it'll be a good one this weekend.
Shohei Ohtani hit his first home run as a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers on Wednesday night. A young lady named Amber Roman caught it. And things get a little interesting from that point on. And friend of the show, Marin Angus Combs, has an article on Newsweek.com. Headline: Dodger fan who caught Shohei Ohtani's home run exposes league-wide issue. Apparently, Dodger officials went to Mrs. Roman, because she is married, wanting the ball for obvious reasons.
Right.
Shohei Ohtani's first home run as a Dodger. And to say they negotiated for the ball might be a little bit of a stretch. She wanted to keep the ball. Was told that they would not authenticate the ball for her if she kept it, which means you can't, you can tell people, hey, this is the ball that he hit, and people may believe it and they may not, and you don't have anything to really say, no, really, this is the ball. It's because they Major League Baseball employs authenticators of stuff.
Right.
Of, memorabilia.
Yeah, certification.
Yeah. And so once they told her, if you're going to keep it, he's not going to sign it and we won't authenticate it. She's like, what will he trade me for it? They offered her 2 signed baseball caps at first.
Okay.
Then they offered her a bat and another ball. She asked if she could meet him, was told no, which in another story, apparently he later paraphrasing through his translator, which is
Uh-huh.
another issue. He's got a new translator, if you hadn't heard. It was said that they met, they talked, or it was left there, lost in the translation, I guess. But she got 2 signed hats, a signed bat, and a signed ball.
Seems a little light.
It seems a little light for the first home run hit by, that guy. I mean, if it was James Outman's first home run or something like that, then okay. But again, Marin goes on to say that this isn't the first time that fans have been intimidated to give up milestone balls. It has become a league-wide problem and has been well documented over the last few years. Brewers fan Bryant Junko has Aaron Judge's 59th home run ball. They offered him 4 signed balls and 4 signed hats from Judge, and he turned it down. And still has the ball, unauthenticated. Said he later, communicated with Major League Baseball and offered, and he was told that Major League Baseball would turn the ball over to its authentication team, but it would become property of MLB and would not be returned to him. So if we get it, we got it.
Yeah. And I'm thinking a couple things on this. Number one, I don't know that I have the stones to do this, but if I am catching Ohtani's first home run ball, you know what I'm demanding. $4.5 million.
Because I got gambling debts, right?
Don't ask me what it's for, but just say, hey, look, you can stop all the dog and pony show. Just give me $4.5 million.
You can have it.
And if they don't laugh, just turn and walk away. The other thing that I'm thinking about, and especially since you mentioned the Judge situation here, if a player wants the item bad enough, it seems like both of these situations, and we've even seen this, with Tom Brady in the NFL and things like that. If the player wants this memorabilia bad enough, presumably they would find a way to reach out to the fan on their own. So the story that I'm kind of hearing sounds like representatives are reaching out. Representatives are reaching out. To me, if I'm the athlete and I want it bad enough, I'll find a way to go do it. So if you're turning it over, and again, it's easy for me to say, not having ever been in this position, but to get a couple hats, I'm even thinking there are ways, if you're dead set on meeting one of these high profile athletes, you can buy tickets for like a meet and greet. I mean, there's ways if that's really like one of your life ambitions is to meet Ohtani, you can just spend a little money and do that. So I feel like you're really underselling your position, your bargaining position here. But yeah, $4.5 million, I just would turn and walk the other way and then say, and you know what that's about.
I'm getting a picture. I'm getting a picture with him and the ball.
I'm getting a selfie and making him post it to his social media accounts and tagging me.
Yep.
And I'm going to wear I'm going to wear a Main Street Media shirt.
There you go. So that way, a little branding.
So that way, whatever business I'm encountered with here, they get their due.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's a number of ways I feel like she got kind of shortchanged.
She got terribly shortchanged, and it's kind of unfortunate. But again, she's not the first. St. Louis Cardinals fan Mike Hutchison apparently traveled to Pittsburgh and caught Albert Pujols' 703rd career home run, was offered an autographed ball in exchange for the home run ball, turned it down. Neither team would authenticate the ball. Here's what gets me about all of this that Marin has outlined here. In a sport that is already having optics issues, why are you doing this?
And that's where I kind of am not fully understanding the paper trail. Does MLB say, hey, do whatever it takes to the Dodgers and say, do whatever it takes to get that ball?
Where is the heavy-handedness coming from?
Who ultimately makes the big decision there? And if MLB is the one that's calling the shots, then that's the last thing they need is a kind of a PR fiasco.
Yeah, yet another black guy.
I'm sitting here thinking too, I'm like, man, I'm asking for season tickets at a minimum. Like, come on now. Season tickets for life. I mean, it's like you said, it's not
I mean, it's Shohei Ohtani. Yeah. I mean, it's not.
I also can't remember if I read that in this article or if it was another one that I saw online. There was also a little, and maybe it's just because I watched Casino again the other night, but it felt the story. I swear I thought I read there was a little kind of strong arming that was going on, like almost. Not saying that obviously there was any physical contact or harm or anything through him, but almost it seemed just a step below that. Like, hey, you really need to turn this ball over.
Well, I mean, and Marin uses the phrase intimidation, and that doesn't necessarily. I don't think that's overstated. Security came up and hand signaled me to go to them. At first, I'm thinking I did something wrong. They said, "No, we want to reward you for catching the ball." They took us down to right next to the bullpen, the gate, to go in there. That's where they had us. At that point, they didn't allow my husband or the friend that we were with to go with me. They said they had to stay back. So they took this woman by herself, isolated her from her party, and then all this is going on.
Yeah, I'm getting Sam Rothstein vibes on this here, where this is a shady Vegas backroom dealing with the pit boss type situation, and that's obviously not great optics to begin with. And again, I'm saying all this, and if I'd have caught that, especially you get caught up in the moment a little bit too. Props for even thinking, no, I'm going to at least turn down and get a little bit more. But the fact, the introductory offer is kind of what it was, like
2 caps.
No offense, but like, two caps. And what'd you say for Judge? 4 autograph caps? First of all, what you need, you're going to display one, maybe wear one. Then what are you going to do with the other 2 caps?
Give them to your friends? What?
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I didn't expect to get all worked up over home runs caught in the stands today, but here we are.
Here we are. That's okay. I like worked up Wade.
I want a little justice, and we'll see what comes of this story.
I'm afraid this story,
if it's
in
for
and
the
of
A's,
itself,
you could maybe parlay that into a small piece of ownership, or I know.
Assuming that I don't know.
We don't go too many shows without bagging on the A's, so I had to chip in.
I don't know who the A's have, who their home run baseball would be negotiable. So
yeah, that's the poor A's. They got the players themselves are going up with their wallets out, going in the crowd saying, "Hey, I'll give you $400 for that ball." And it's like, oh, okay,
yeah. Before we get out of this segment and out of this hour, we need to revisit our top story just briefly. Cane Ridge football coach Eddie Woods announced yesterday, after we went off the air, that he would be resigning after 9 seasons. Said he needs a break. Said he's been coaching 12 straight years and wants to do something different, anticipating his first free summer since entering the profession just over 2 decades ago, according to the story on MainStreetPreps.com by Russell Venozzi. It's always going to be a tough decision. I've been battling with it since the end of February or early March. I wanted to go ahead and make it official so they can get somebody else in here. Need to take some time away, rejuvenate, and spend a little time with my family. Wasn't forced out or anything. Had a great relationship with the administration. It was just time. Woods was at Memphis Melrose for 3 seasons before coming up and taking over at Cane Ridge. One of his players at Memphis Melrose, I imagine he'll be spending a little time watching this fall. Titans running back Tony Pollard, who just signed as a free agent after beginning his career with the Dallas Cowboys. So I would imagine some Titans season tickets, speaking of season tickets, might be in Eddie Woods' future now that he has a little time to not have to watch film on Sunday afternoons.
So you know what? I got other places I got to be now on Sundays.
There you go. So good for him. I think that's the one thing that more coaches are realizing now that maybe they didn't 20 years ago, that family time, you can't get it back.
Yeah. And I'm not Buddha or Yoda over here when I say this, but Yeah, money can take you a lot of places, and cachet can do a lot of things for you. But I heard a great, you hear the great quote, your kids are not going to remember how much money you made. Your kids and your family are going to remember how much time you spent with them and the memories. And so, and we just saw a story with that in Columbia here, with their women's basketball program.
Absolutely.
So it's never going to knock a coach for any decision. And like you said, he said it in his quote here. It's a tough decision. And everybody says that, but when you're dealing with a situation like that, you really kind of can see the sincerity kind of jumping through the words there.
Absolutely. One of a handful of changes on the Metro Nashville football sidelines over this offseason. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they go in to replace a highly successful Eddie Woods. I think he was 75-31 in 9 seasons, including a state championship game appearance. So
we don't have enough time, but I'm going to write a note down. I want to ask you a question about coaches and Metro Nashville and turnarounds a little bit later. See if we can squeeze that in. I'm going to jot it down because I'm curious your thoughts on this.
All right. Sounds good. When we come back for the second hour of Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia, we will be joined by the Queen of Tennessee sports media, Teresa Walker.
It's got a just beautiful roll off the tongue when you say it like that.
It does. Absolutely. So come back to the Lee Company studios with us when we come back from this break.
Welcome to Protein Snack Shop, your destination for healthy and delicious low-carb snacks. Our specialty lies in providing protein-packed desserts that are perfect for those following a keto diet. Our products are made with high-quality ingredients, ensuring that you can satisfy your cravings without compromising your health goals. From a variety of flavors and options to choose from, you can enjoy guilt-free snacking while staying on track with your fitness journey. Don't miss out on our limited time offer. Discover Protein Snack Shop today.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
the second hour of the weekend update edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Wade Neely. Joining us now, again, let me make sure I get this right. The queen of Tennessee sports media, Teresa Walker of the Associated Press,
I think we can
joining us now. Let's see. Because I got corrected the last time I said the queen of Nashville sports media. So I don't want to get corrected. I don't want to get my hand smacked. Did I get that right?
You did, because, and hey, what can I say? I'm claiming the whole state because I am the Associated Press's sports editor for the state of Tennessee. And I have literally covered things from one end of the state to the other, from Bristol to Memphis. I've gone up to Martin, down to Savannah, to Chattanooga, and all parts in between. I spent some time one day trying to count up how many gyms I've been in. And it's like, I need to write it down because there's just so many of them.
What we need to do is we need to get producer Mark to come up with a crown that we can put on you whenever you come on the show, you know.
Well, if you follow me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, when the blue mark went away, I gave myself my own crown.
I'm familiar. I'm aware. So maybe you're just going to have to buy one and wear it whenever you're on air.
Or go buy a Burger King, and get the paper.
That's a solid backup.
There you go. There you go. Teresa, again, covering everything that you cover, we can go all over the map with you, and we're going to have Teresa for the next two segments here because we don't know what else to talk about. But the Preds got a big one last night, did they not?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with that win, they have an 8-point margin over the Blues instead of what could have been, with a loss, a 4-point difference. And it's a little bit of breathing room. I mean, the season is coming to a close. They've got 2 more home games left. They wrap up the season on April 15th at Pittsburgh, if I'm remembering correctly. But weirdly, I mean, this season's just weird. The season itself ends on April 18th, and the playoffs begin on April 20th. And, right now, if the season ended as of today, they would be opening against the Vancouver Canucks. And the one thing I hate about that is if it's a Canadian team, I've got to write the preview for the series. So, that's the way they're playing since they went on their point streak. They're playing it a way that you think, last night wasn't pretty at times, but they got the win. That's the kind of grit you need. And we saw that during the point streak. That's what you need at this time of year to be playing. So, guess what? They're, in the standings, I think the Canucks are 10 points ahead of them. That's not really anything. It's all about how you're playing in April. And, this team has gone from where I thought that just simply making the playoffs would be the most that they could do. Well, that point streak shows, especially with Forsberg and Roman Josi kind of asserting themselves, that this team now, I won't be surprised if they do something they couldn't do the last time they were in the playoffs 2 years ago, which was win a game. They got swept, first time in franchise history. But if they get this berth, as and it could happen in the span of the next 2-3 days, depending on the way the different games and the numbers line up. The fact of the matter is, they 9 out of 10 seasons in the postseason, guys. I think that kind of gets overlooked. It's like, oh, but we want to get back to the cup. 17 was magical, but to have the consistency, especially in a year where you've got a brand new GM, first-time GM in Barry Trotz, a first-time head coach in Andrew Brunette, who did great things as an interim coach with the Florida Panthers. But for them to come in with the changes that were made to get in the playoffs, and yes, I do think that not only will they have a chance to win a game, they just might be able to win a series. That would exceed the expectations that I had for this team coming in. And at that point, bar the door, anything is possible. And I think that's because of how Andrew Brunette has gotten his team to mesh. And yeah, the whole, sending them to bed without you two on the Vegas trip. I mean, it's like, you know, I know it's a joke, but it's like, you know, Barry Trotz made it clear they didn't earn it. You got to earn stuff like that. And a good reminder for this time of the year that nothing's given. You've got to go out and take it.
Yeah. Teresa Walker of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports today. And Teresa, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but with everything that this franchise went through over the offseason, new GM, new coach, all sorts of personnel changes, to be sitting here, 44-28-4, clearly exceeds expectations, has to, for anybody reasonably looking at the situation. I mean, at this point, whatever happens with this team, how disappointed can you be?
Well, if you're realistic, you're not disappointed whatsoever. I mean, you look at the play of UC Saros, and you know he's up there among the top goalies in his play, his performance, most particularly wins. Forsberg, I looked a little while ago, is tied for 7th in goals. Forsberg is up there in the rankings for points. I mean, Yossi has put together another strong candidacy for another Norris Trophy, okay? And probably better than last year. So if I was voting, I don't get a vote, but if I did, I'd be putting him as my Norris Trophy candidate because he is the guy that has helped. I mean, he plays defense. He's the captain, and you know he's scoring like crazy. And then Forsberg, I mean, the guy hadn't practiced in a month. You know what that reminds me of? And yet last night he tied the single season goal mark that was set just a couple of years ago. It reminds me of the year in 2002 when Steve McNair was hurt, did not practice for 5 straight weeks, yet led the team to 5 straight wins, a playoff berth, and eventually an AFC championship loss in Oakland to a team coached by the Titans' current offensive line coach and Bill Callahan. So, I mean, but that's the thing. It's remarkable. It's amazing. You know, they got rid of Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson, highly paid guys who were, you know, arguably maybe not living up completely to their contracts. And the 2 guys who are still here getting paid lots of money have absolutely lived up to their contracts, earned every penny of it, and helped set the standard for this team.
It's interesting when you draw the comparison between Philip Forsberg and what he's doing right now and Steve McNair and what he did for the Titans. And to take that one step further, what jersey number do they both wear?
Number 9. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah, well, I thought I knew that, but I had to go back and double check it. And if you heard a little audio here just a second ago before I could get it killed, that's what that was me confirming that Forsberg is in fact number 9, because I'm not the big Preds head that I sometimes come across as.
Hey, Teresa,
you cover so much, Mo, that you know. Trust me.
Yeah, you can't be the expert at everything unless you're Teresa.
Well, there you go.
Exactly. Thank you, Wade.
There you go.
And I mean, hey, we're older, and let's just put it this way: sometimes we cover so much, and as the seasons meld, it's nice to have a score sheet or a lineup card in front of us with the numbers. I'm just saying, you know, like Earlier today, they announced a bunch of new numbers for the new Titans. And I'm like, I still see some of those numbers and think back to when so-and-so had it or so-and-so. And so, I mean, shoot, Calvin Ridley's going to be wearing number 0. That one's easy enough to remember, although Sean, Murphy Bunting did a decent job wearing it last year, but it's still a new number, so to speak, in the NFL. Right. So easier to remember sometimes.
The thing is, I may not know stuff, but I know where to find it, so that always helps. I'm an expert Googler. There we go.
Not to brag there, that's my realm of expertise. Hey, Teresa, real quick, more with the Preds. After such an epic run that they went on, and then obviously ran into some trouble with Arizona, Colorado, and Boston. In your estimation, how crucial was – they were pretty much still a lock to always make the playoffs, but how crucial was that game last night, and how crucial are these next couple to kind of get them back on that positive note after dropping 3 in a row?
Oh, it's huge, Wade, because I mean, it was unlikely. I mean, bring the numbers in at the odds, whatever. It was unlikely that they were going to just keep riding that streak through to the cup. You can't do that. Not in hockey. I mean, not with as many games as was going to happen. Now, for some reason, Arizona just seems to have always had this team's number. I mean, it's ridiculous, going back, years. And Colorado is a team that the Predators have played well this season. And then Boston is one of the best in the league. So, it's disappointing in that they were kind of blown out in a couple of those games, reminiscent of the 9-2 loss that cost them the chance to go see U2 in the Sphere. And I was only disappointed because I would have loved to have gone and seen that show myself, and I didn't get the chance. But they corrected. They beat a team last night that they had to beat, one that was on their tail, trying to chase them down. So they kind of kept the hand on the forehead of little brother, saying, no, stay behind me now. But they do need to, fix some things. The power play struggled a bit in the 3-game skid. Didn't look so great last night, but they certainly finished when they had to and piled on. I'm still struggling at why you pull your goalie with double-digit minutes left in the third. I mean, it's like, are you, John Hines over there? Patrick Raw? I mean, you just don't pull a goalie that early in the third period. But, hey, the Predators made them pay for it. And, but now you do want to build up some momentum. One of Barry Trotz's phrases was that speeding train, when injured guys were trying to come back at this time of the year, getting on a train that's going down the tracks. You want to build momentum. You want to get some of that point streak mojo going again. You don't have to win every single game, but it wouldn't hurt as you get ready for the postseason. You're a game or 2 or 3 away from clinching. So, build that momentum. Why? Because before you know it, you're going to be in a situation where you've got to win at least 4 of 7. And that's what matters most, is trying to just build up that momentum, work out these final kinks, hone some of your game. And as somebody, and I wish I could remember who it was on social media last night, the idea, Beauvillier, one of the guys that they brought in, they're 8-0-1 with him on the roster. So make sure he gets on the ice a little bit more, guys.
Good luck charm.
Teresa Walker of the AP joining us here on Main Street Sports today. What right now jumps out at you about the Titans? I mean, we are 2 weeks away from the draft, 3 weeks away from the draft. Obviously, they've had a flurry of free agent signings and that kind of thing. But what are you looking out for with them right now?
Well, they've made their big splash. And here's the thing. They've been, for a franchise that has wrongly, at times, at least under Amy Adams-Strunk, had a bad rep, that, comes over from her dad of being cheapskates. And he wasn't cheap, not when it came to paying players. It's just that he didn't do it in a splashy manner. They have been the most, the team, according to Spot Rack, that spent the most money here to start free agency. So they've addressed a lot of holes. Getting Calvin Ridley, I love when Rand Carthon told us the story that they talked about the deal. There was a couple guys. It's like, well, I'm not so sure about it. They came back and talked about it the next morning, worked it out, got the deal done. We're FaceTiming with Calvin Ridley, and Miss Amy Adams-Strunk, calls Rand and says, "Is it true?" And it's like, wait a minute, we just got this done, And so it's like they moved fast when they needed to. They pivoted when they needed to. And he said it the other day. They were trying to assemble the Avengers. They didn't really want to see Danico Autry and Aziz Al-Sher go to Houston. But at a certain point, you can't, you've got a number that you're willing to go. And Danico Autry is 33. He's had 3 incredible seasons for the Titans, probably far outplayed his contract that they had given him under the last GM. I'm not overpaying for a defensive interior lineman at 33, just not. And Azeez Al-Shir's great guy, tackling machine. But guys, look at some of the stats. It's not like he was making splash plays, okay? You weren't seeing interceptions. You weren't seeing forced fumbles. You weren't seeing that many recovered fumbles. So I'm okay with making the move. In fact, I kind of said it before the tampering period opened, is one of the guys I wanted to see him go get. They got him, L'Jarius Sneed. And they got him at a price that I think is kind of amazing, and showed some patience letting that market kind of, you sometimes you got to wait for something to hit, not just the bargain bin, but for expectations. When you put a non-exclusive franchise tag on somebody, you're thinking, oh, if somebody's going to make him an offer, we're going to get a lot, some high draft picks. But if a team isn't willing to go there, then they paid Chris Jones over in Kansas City. They couldn't do that and keep L'Jarius Sneed. And being patient is what allowed this deal to happen. And, I didn't exactly like the timing of it, because I just finished my second game of the first round in Memphis in the NCAA tournament, when I suddenly had to start working the phones to, confirm that move. But big deal, because now what has been a weakness of this franchise for the last 2, 3, 4 years, the secondary, because they were trying to fill those spots in the draft, and the only one that they truly hit on was Roger McCreary. And now they've got Awuzie that they got from Cincinnati. Now they've got L'Jarius Sneed. Roger McCreary can play the slot. You've got Amani Hooker. Elijah Molden is going to, it looks like he's going to be in that other safety spot, but he's shown the flexibility of moving around. Now, hey, did you see Jeff Simmons' response? Help me, help you. And now they can scratch each other's back. They can buy him an extra second to get to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And he can put a pressure on the quarterback and maybe help them get some more interceptions. For a team that had the fewest interceptions in the NFL last year with just 6.
Did not realize that till we talked about it on the show a couple of weeks ago. That's crazy.
It's a number that can only go up.
Right. Thank goodness, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
we hope.
hopefully, yeah. Let's cautiously optimistic on that one. I'm interested though, Teresa. It's almost like Tennessee knew when they went out and got Sneed that the Texans were going to go get Stephon Diggs.
Well, and the good thing is that Sneed has played Stephon Diggs very, very well.
Very well.
I think what I saw was 3 catches for 37 yards and no touchdowns allowed
in 5 games.
That's for somebody you're going to face twice next season. And under that redone deal, he's only confirmed 1 season in Houston. Mm-hmm. So, I'm liking this. And Sneed is a guy that wants that challenge. This is a guy who was a 4th round pick out of Louisiana Tech, who had to go earn it. And now you worry a teeny bit, is he, still motivated? And he is, because, he wants to be trying to travel. He wants to face off against the best receiver on the other side and go shut him down. So he's going to get a chance to do that, because, people have been tweeting out the receivers that the Titans are going to be facing this season. And, with Denard Wilson and Chris Harris and Steven Jackson, back as a coach in that secondary unit. This is going to be an interesting thing to see. And I want to couch that 6 interceptions, because a year ago I said, there's no way they could score fewer points on offense. Could they? They found a way to dig deeper. So I'm just hopeful that there should be a way for them to get their hands on more than 6 interceptions this season. It's got to at some point, because Sneed and Cheeto Awuzie, probably still butchering his name. I've got to practice that a little bit more. But the 2 of those combined in their career, if I'm remembering the math properly, 16 interceptions in their career. So they know how to get their hands on balls when they're in the air.
You can almost get 6 interceptions just off deflections, I feel like, over the course of a season, not even just being in the right place at the right time. So that number is literally just shocking to me from last year.
Oh, Wade, it was stunning, because they were close and just couldn't do it. And Mike Vrabel, it's not that they weren't emphasizing it. Anytime you talk to him about sacks through his tenure as coach here, he was not impressed with the sack numbers. It was getting the ball out, and the defense did not do that enough last year. And that's one of the reasons why there's a new coach with the Tennessee Titans.
Teresa Walker of the Associated Press joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. We're going to take a break. She's going to come back with us when we come back to the Lee Company studios here. So stay tuned for more Teresa Walker right here. Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Welcome to Protein Snack Shop, your destination for healthy and delicious low-carb snacks. Our specialty lies in providing protein-packed desserts that are perfect for those following a keto diet. Our products are made with high-quality ingredients, ensuring that you can satisfy your cravings without compromising your health goals. From a variety of flavors and options to choose from, you can enjoy guilt-free snacking while staying on track with your fitness journey. Don't miss out on our limited time offer. Discover Protein Snack Shop today.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers, putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Welcome back to the weekend update edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia. Maurice Patton, Wade Neely, and Teresa Walker of the Associated Press joining you. Teresa, I saw a tweet earlier today that said this may be the biggest night in the history of women's college basketball.
It is amazing how short-sighted and at least people are paying attention now, shall we say, okay? As somebody who remembers watching Nancy Lieberman with ODU playing against the Tennessee Lady Vols in the AIAW tournament back in the late 70s, take it with a grain of salt. It's great that more people are tuning in, but women's basketball did exist before Paige Beckers, before Caitlin Clark. And guys, you know what's crazy is WNBA teams are already making changes. I saw that there's one team that's moving from a 12,000 seat arena to a 20,000 seat arena for their game against, the Indiana Fever, who have the #1 pick, because they're already anticipating, more people wanting to come see Caitlin Clark. So that's great. And these players are amazing. I mean, Caitlin Clark reminds me of Steph Curry when, but a big difference though, everybody knows that Caitlin Clark is going to go to the W. I mean, she's going to be with the Olympic Team USA Olympic camp in Cleveland after the Final Four. There's a chance that she makes the cut for France this year, the Summer Games, which I'll be helping Doug Feinberg cover women's basketball in France. And,
friend of the show, Doug Feinberg.
Feinberg.
I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. We had him on Monday.
I know, he's great. He does an awesome job. He covers the WNBA. He knows all things women's basketball. But it's like, it's annoying, but I do love it. I do wish that ESPN ABC was smart enough to put these games tonight on ABC, and preamp put the women's title game on ABC. I don't know if they're on ESPN. I know that tonight's semis are, but it's like, you want to see people go crazy, put them on over the air. The numbers that they had for the other game, it was astounding numbers, outperformed many men's games. And I'm talking NBA games, NBA, MLB, World Series games. That's the kind of viewers they got. That's why women's basketball is having this moment, because, it's the Caitlin effect. It's like, oh, who's that? People are tuning in because they want to see her, and because she's throwing up shots. I mean, think about it. She had a double-double against LSU, and, and Angel Reese had a double-double. Well, Angel's was in points and rebounds, and Caitlin's was points and assists. And it's fun to watch these kids play. But, I saw Shamika Holtzclaw play. I saw Candace Parker play. I mean, the corn-fed girls of, Pat Summitt's first couple of, national championship teams. I mean, it's like, and then if you're smart, go to Knoxville someday and go to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame and spend a couple of hours there, go around and educate yourself. Jackson, for the longest time, was the home of the NAIA Women's Basketball Tournament. And that's how I learned about the Wayland Baptist Flying Queens. And the reason they had the Flying Queen nickname, they were sponsored in the 50s and 60s by a company that flew them around the country to play games. That's how good those women were.
Wow.
So, I mean, the women's basketball game has had decades to catch up. And, but each player, I mean, do people really, Juju Watkins is amazing at USC, but are we forgetting Cheryl Miller, who was better than her brother Reggie? And Reggie will almost always admit that she was a better player than him. So calm down, people.
Hey, Teresa, that's a great question. We've seen since Monday, really, everybody has got some sort of opinion. Everybody's got some sort of take on various points about women's college basketball, or even the WNBA by affiliation. But I guess my question for you is, having covered this game for so long, what does the NCAA, what do these institutions now do to cash in? I think we're beyond the conversation of, hey, this is popular and this is really a big ratings kind of bonanza here. What are some immediate steps, or what do you think or anticipate some changes, or how do we cash in on this movement, I guess is the easiest way to ask.
Well, the TV contract, as I understand, is up next year, so expect a much bigger number. And that will allow them, and there's already talk of doing some retroactive units. Now, units are what teams and leagues get for their teams getting into the tournament and the games that they win and how far they advance in the tournament. That literally brings money back to the universities to plow back into their programs. And the top coaches have been talking about this. I wrote about this last year, or helped a colleague write about this last year. That's the best way to do it, because units literally are money money going into the programs so that you can pay coaches, and NIL deals are helping get money. And and here's the thing, Tennessee Lady Vols have a job opening, and for all the talk about losing Rakia Jackson, who I'm still not quite sure why she wasn't a first team All-American, because she's probably going to be a number 3, maybe 4th pick off the board in the WNBA draft that's upcoming. But the fact of the matter is, whoever they hire as a coach, and if I'm Danny White, I'm swinging for the fences, because, if you go to the USC and get Lindsey Gottlieb, guess what? She could bring Juju with her. Okay. It's the transfer
That's a wild
portal.
thought.
Were you watching? Were you watching our show yesterday?
I was
Teresa?
not. I was not.
We had Maria Cornelius from Go Vols 24/7 on yesterday, and we were talking about the UT women's basketball coaching vacancy, and we brought up Lindsey Gottlieb, and I said, do you leave Southern Cal and Juju Watkins? And I was brought into reality. You're not necessarily leaving Juju Watkins. And
Juju, come with me, baby.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just a paradigm shift that clearly I've not completely made yet. But yeah, the transfer portal makes that a possibility. So nothing's off the board as far as that goes, clearly. But, it almost feels, or we've been made to feel, like the South Carolina NC State game is kind of the opening act tonight for UConn and Iowa.
Because of Caitlin versus Paige Beckers, with Beckers' injuries over the last couple of years, we didn't get a chance to really see them. And, I'll just say this, having noticed what Caitlin Clark said after they clinched this berth in the Final Four, that UConn didn't really apparently recruit her. And maybe it's because they had Paige coming. And I mean, I won't be surprised if Caitlin Clark is extra motivated to me. And I wouldn't be surprised if she put, in fact, I think I tweeted it that night, she may put up 50 against the Huskies. Okay. And Gino, he's like, what, when he was asked about how you play her defensively, it's like, no one has slowed her down. So it's like, they've got to come up with something to, and they will. I mean, as much as Tennessee fans may hate to hear it, Gino can coach. And Paige and those girls are, I mean, considering what he's done this year with the injuries they've had, is astounding. It just kind of feels like maybe they hit at some point, Wile E. Coyote runs out of land and plummets off the cliff. It feels a little bit like Iowa's going to be that cliff for UConn tonight. But I got a feeling we're going to see a motivated Caitlin Clark, who is going to fill it up and find her teammates, which is what makes her very dangerous. I mean, Dawn was talking about it. Watch what she does when she's not shooting. She's getting the ball to her teammates so that they can score, and she's working around the court. She's not somebody, I've covered many guys who love to shoot, and when they don't have the ball in their hand, they just stand in one spot, and they're not helping their teammates by moving offensively. Caitlin does that. She's never stops at one spot. And so she is always helping her teammates, get that ball moving. It is a little bit of a warm up because, NC State, nobody expected them to get to the Final Four. Wes Moore has done an amazing job, former Chattanooga coach, former boss of Kelly Harper when, Kelly left UTC. In fact, Wes was supposed to come pick up his TSWA Coach of the Year award from us and couldn't because he had to suddenly replace John Harper and Kelly Harper because they had taken jobs elsewhere. So, he's done an amazing job, but I'm sorry. South Carolina is just having an amazing season with what Dawn had to replace. And they have, with Carmela Cardoso, they are just, it's almost like the Terminator. How do you stop them?
So with that said, you feel like Sunday we get the best team in South Carolina and the best player in Caitlin Clark in the finals?
Yep, that's exactly what I'm expecting. And it's going to be interesting to see what Dawn does to slow down Caitlin, because that's the thing. I mean, that's the person you've got to stop first and foremost with Iowa. Make somebody else beat you, because you know that Caitlin is going to fill it up. So you've got to find a way to disrupt her, to keep her from shooting, and you've got to find a way to keep her from finding teammates. So, and they've got the length with the players that Dawn has got to do that.
Do you have to stop Caitlin Clark?
Slow her
Do you have to
down.
do you have to slow Caitlin Clark down if you're South Carolina? Can't you just make sure that nobody else is a factor?
That might work. I mean, shoot, we saw it in the Purdue-Tennessee men's game, where Connect and Edie both accounted for 55 and 56% of their team's points, and Connect did not get enough help from enough teammates. So, yeah, maybe let Caitlin go out there and score like crazy, and just keep her from finding teammates with the assist that she is so good at making that pass when she isn't shooting. If you can stop that, that might be the winning formula.
Teresa, it's interesting, and it kind of speaks volumes really about the topic that we've been discussing at large. We haven't mentioned the men's tournament, and I guess I'm curious, to me at least, this is the lesser of the two appealing tournaments to date thus far. And I'm curious, what kind of strikes your fancy this weekend? What are you going to maybe keep your eyes on as we play those two Saturday and then the championship Monday?
Well, I mean, obviously UConn, let's see if they can actually pull it off and repeat as champs. And if they don't, I got a feeling their airplane woes getting out of Connecticut is going to be a big topic of conversation. And I'm like, this is maybe why you go out a day early, okay? There was a storm system going across the country. You didn't know that weather and flights, and I mean, come on. It seems like one team always deals with that every year, right? Alabama, can they go out and represent the SEC? And, I know Tennessee fans, it would be, I don't think they're going to be rooting for a team that they swept during the regular season. But hey, the fact of the matter is, yes, the men are playing in a big stadium. The women are playing in a basketball arena in Cleveland. But the fact of the matter is, the tickets are, twice the price essentially to get into the women's game, because there's just more names. You know who these players are who are going to be playing tonight and on Sunday. And for the men's side, it's more the name on the front of the jersey than on the back of the jersey that you're paying attention to. I mean, because of the portal. I mean, I've covered Alabama. I covered the SEC tournament. I can name one player off of Alabama, Mark Sears, and only because he was right there fighting with Dalton Knecht to lead the SEC in scoring. Honestly, I know Dan Hurley's the coach of UConn, and I know that NC State's there with DJ Burns. But beyond, and oh yeah, Purdue. Because I did watch that game the other day. But, I'm just curious, when are they going to fix that 3-second rule in men's basketball and make it like everybody else's? I'm just saying. I mean, let's setting a bad precedent there. They need to change that rule, because, I mean, dude had a campfire and a tent and was pretty much pitched, and he gets one toe out of the lane and restart the clock. There's just something wrong with that. But
yeah, it's merely a suggestion for Edie, just not a rule so much as a suggestion for the 3 seconds, I suppose.
I'm sorry, that still scratches. How many times have we seen big men just be magnets for fouls, and instead he is a magnet to getting to the free throw line? I've just never seen a guy that is that big go one whole game with one foul. So it's still a sore point. I'm just saying.
And what's really tough to figure out is, why is it him that's getting that deferential treatment?
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, it's not like Purdue is, it's not Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas, the blue blood programs of college basketball. Right. It's Purdue. It has a great tradition thanks to Gene Cady, but it's like, he's the player of the year. He was awarded the AP player of the year for this season, but he's 7'4". I'm sorry. I mean, there were lots of times where he should have been called for fouls against Tennessee. That one was called a held ball. When you jump on a guy I mean, who was playing tackle football in that game? Never mind. Yeah, sore spot. But it's just one of those things. I like to see it called both ways. And that was the thing that was the most irritating about that game.
Yeah. Who do you like to the finals? I mean, it feels like UConn Purdue.
It does feel like that. And, but you know what? Let's see what NC State and DJ Burns do. I'm really curious to see how the game is officiated. Well, Burns is a big boy. He reminds me of Charles Barkley. He's kind of thick, but he has some ability to him, and they have been on a run. Maybe Jim Valvano is perched on their shoulder, giving them that angels in the outfield kind of edge. But guess what? This is why they play the games, and we will see if they can go against the chalk, so to speak.
NC State does feel like a team of destiny to some degree, has felt that way since they won 5 games in 5 days in the ACC tournament. So, yeah, that will be – what do we get? We get Purdue and NC State first? Is that right?
I believe
we're 50-50.
Yeah, flip a coin.
You're right.
NC State Purdue set for 509. Alabama UConn set for 749.
There we go. Okay. So.
Of course. So I mean, but sometimes that team of destiny. Sometimes you just go on that run and it goes all the way through. And, they're loose. They've got nothing to lose. I mean, I was watching some video on social media an hour ago. They were kind of dancing. They had a boombox and getting ready to go out on the court for their open practice session. So, they're certainly loose as a goose. But let's see how the game is called. That's going to be a big key.
They're playing with house money for sure. So
absolutely.
We'll see how it goes. Teresa, we appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon. Look forward to chatting with you later, and have a great weekend.
Sounds good. And 3 weeks from today, we'll be preparing for the second and third rounds of the NFL draft.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Get some sleep between now and then.
Yeah.
Where did March go? I can't even believe that it's April, 5th? Oh, my God.
Yep.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks.
Thank
We'll
you,
need it.
Teresa.
Talk to you soon. And when we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, it's the final segment of the week. Yay.
Man. Teresa's title rolls off the tip of the tongue, but what you just said, that sounds mighty nice too.
Yeah, there we go. Come back to the Lee Company Studios after this break. I'm Maurice Patton, and on Main Street Sports Today, we bring you the voices of your favorite teams from preps to pros.
Otherwise known as the VOT, Mike Keith.
The bottom line is we can teach Will Levis woke.
I just don't know who's going to work with you on your base stealing now that EY is gone.
Well, that has nowhere to go but up. And I was just like, oh, guys, not again. Can we just bury that, burn that footage, and not bring it back?
No.
No. Thank you. We'll keep it going past the All-Star break, and looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out. There's always a good story to tell.
Can you guess where I am today, Mo? Where am I?
It's not Reese Smith Field, is it?
Yeah.
Because anytime you play Chicago, you want to win. That's
you got that right. And
that's
the bottom line. Be a buzz.
When you're walking the dog, you keep the bags that you need for the dog in the bag, and you don't even have to wear it. You can just hold it, which is what I do when I walk the dog. So
I think the fanny pack probably needed a little rebranding.
It did. It really did.
On your show logo, we've got to get a puck in there. There's a basketball. There's a football, there's a baseball. Maybe it's not a puck. How about Mo brandishes a hockey stick?
Tune in daily at 2 p.m. on Main Street Media TV.
And down the stretch they come. Final segment of the weekend update here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia. Wade, with everything else that's on TV this weekend, we talked about the women's Final Four tonight and Sunday. We talked about the men's Final Four tomorrow and Monday. You got Astros, you got Braves. Where does the UFL fit on your viewing schedule?
You know, I've over the years struggled to get, unless I'm getting paid. I have been paid to work some of these things over the years, but I struggle to get behind it, especially right now, right? But I do think they got some decent buzz coming out of week one, but it feels like all these leagues in the spring, they have this great first week, and then the ratings and interest kind of plummets as the weeks continue. I'm not opposed to picking it back up, but I feel like it's probably going to be pretty low on the priority list.
Not everybody is as hardcore about spring/minor league football as our other co-host, Chris Yao, is, but I'm sure he knows this weekend schedule. Tomorrow at noon on ESPN, it's San Antonio at Memphis, and I really do love Memphis's logo, by the way. The 8 o'clock game tomorrow night is Arlington at St. Louis. Sunday at noon, and I imagine all these times are Eastern, by the way. So that's probably 11 and 7 tomorrow and 11 a.m. local time on Sunday. Birmingham is at Michigan, followed by a 3 o'clock kick between Houston and the DC Defenders. Both the midday games on Saturday and Sunday are on ESPN. The Saturday night game is on ABC, and the Sunday afternoon contest is on Fox. So,
you know, and the interesting thing to me is we're going through this. We got the UFL. Who do you associate the UFL with? What famous personality?
The Rock.
Correct. The Rock is wrestling at WrestleMania this weekend on Saturday night. Luckily for everybody involved, when the Renegades and Battlehawks kick off, luckily The Rock ain't an undercarder because he's going to be going on late night, I assume, Saturday night. So
he won't be conflicting with his league then,
for a guy that is he can pop up at any place at any given time. I feel pretty confident we won't see him at either Memphis or St. Louis Saturday night. But I just found that interesting when you were going through that. I said, wait a second, it's WrestleMania weekend, and not just anyone. The Rock is in it. So I'm wondering if there was a little bit of a schedule alteration. The Rock said, hey, I can't be there this week. I got bigger checks to cash this week.
Got to make some money instead of spending it.
Exactly.
Yeah. You want to keep this league afloat? Let me go to WrestleMania.
Yeah, let me do some WrestleMania this weekend. So I know will be tickled at the combo there. You can watch football all day long. You can bleed it right into. There's a ton of stuff going on this weekend in the sporting world.
What is NSC status this weekend?
Playing Philadelphia at home
right.
tomorrow night. And
at Geodis.
Yep, it's going to be cold. Philadelphia is a team that knocked them out of the playoffs a couple of years ago.
That's right.
That's a team that historically has given Nashville kind of some fits. And since we're talking soccer, I don't think I'm going to be able to make either day, but there's a really cool event going on in Nashville this weekend. The English Premier League is basically taking over Broadway, and NBC Sports Network, all of that, they're invading Broadway, and they have pubs decked out, rented out, and they're just having a massive party. As we know, Nashville knows how to party. And so they're taking over, and they're going to be doing live cut-ins from all the bars during the matches that are taking place back over in England.
That's wild.
So it's going to be kind of bonkers. The Titans are even doing potentially some loose crossover. Football meets football, I guess. Yeah, is the way to look at it there. So that's going to be kind of cool if you're looking for just kind of a party. If you're feeling spry, I don't know exactly what time that kicks off because there's matches that start at like 6 a.m. Think about that. You could be on Broadway at people like to start early on Broadway. I'm going to have to pull up the schedule, and I don't know what time it really kicks off. You could be really early on Broadway.
Well, you could potentially pull an all-nighter, I guess, right?
I mean, you could stay up late watching the women's Final Four tonight. And so that event is going on Saturday and Sunday. So you can watch the women's Final Four, stagger out to Lower Broad on Saturday. Or if the men's tournament is your cup of tea, you could do the same thing Saturday into Sunday. It's going to be interesting.
That is going to be interesting. I'll be interested to see what kind of turnout they get for English soccer.
Let's see. I wish I had a list of all the pubs and the place they were showing. The first match tomorrow is Crystal Palace and Man City, and it's at 6:30
a.m.
So if they're kicking off that party with that match, good luck, folks. 6:30 a.m. The rest of the matches are pretty much 9 a.m.
Are the pubs serving breakfast or something? I mean, you got to have something to eat that early in the morning, right?
The way I understand it is basically Broadway is kind of just blocked off, and they're going to have, screens, TVs, etc. But I'm just cracking up. I wonder what the owners of some of these bars are thinking. I love making money, don't get me wrong, but do I really want a bunch of English soccer fans in my bar at 7 a.m. in the morning? That kind of counterculture a little bit with some of the old school country vibes, I guess, if you will, downtown.
Yeah. That you're going to get
It's a mix of cultures, if nothing else, this weekend.
Goodness gracious. Friend of the show, Joe Sullivan, just sent a text with the news that Chris Beard is not taking the Arkansas job, but is instead staying put at Ole Miss. At Tony Patelis, Arkansas, I have someone I'd like for you to meet, and it's a picture of Bob Huggins. Oof. Yao had kind of laid out a scenario yesterday. I don't remember if it was on the show or after the show, but Chris Beard to Arkansas, Jerome Tang from Kansas State to Ole Miss. So I don't know if it's now Jerome Tang to Arkansas, or if it's Bob Huggins to Arkansas, or if it's Will Wade to Arkansas.
John Rothstein from CBS, right before we went on air, said that, quote, Kansas State's Jerome Tang is now expected to be at the top of the list to replace Musselman. Yeah, it's and all the chatter, I found the story late last night, but all the chatter I was seeing seemed like Beard was almost a done deal. I think a lot of reports were coming out, and
seemed to be
as much of a done deal as it could be without it obviously officially being a done deal. So that's a good job too.
It really is. I mean, that program, the support, I would imagine in this era of NIL, I think it's got to be a great job. So it's.
All you got to say is, did they not play at the Bud Walton Arena?
They do play at the Bud Walton Arena.
All right, that's really all you need to tell me.
And basically, the airport that they fly into and out of is considered to be the Walmart airport. So
you play at Bud Walton Arena. This doesn't matter as much, but Jerry Jones, ardent supporter. I mean, they got some cash to see their teams do well, and they want to see their teams do well.
They do, and they will do what it takes for their teams to do well. I mean, it's not Phil Knight, but it's pretty close.
Country Phil Knight. There's a different term I could use, but
no, don't.
It's Mule Day weekend, so I'll keep everybody happy.
Yeah, there we go. Be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice.
I would have used it.
Finally, real quick, we talked about Bronny James being in the transfer portal. Well, now he is in the draft as well.
I mean, hey, just do it all.
Covering all of his bases, I guess. And apparently he has said that he does not have to be drafted by the Lakers.
Well, that's good to know. That he's letting everybody else know.
Yeah, I'm sure the Lakers appreciate that as well. Yeah. That's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. Monday, 4:00. I'm not sure who'll be with me, but I guess I'll be here anyway. So join me on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. You guys have a great weekend. And again, we'll see you Monday at 2 bells.